The survival of Venezuela's F-16 fleet after 2 decades of sanctions has become one of the most unusual stories in modern military aviation. A country that has openly confronted the United States for years still operates one of Washington's most iconic fighter aircraft, and despite severe restrictions on parts, training, and technical support, these jets continue to fly. Their presence in the Venezuelan order of battle reflects a blend of political symbolism, technical improvisation, and strategic necessity that has allowed the fleet to persist long beyond what most analysts expected. Venezuela originally joined the F-16 community in the early 1980s, when Caracas and Washington maintained strong military ties. Under the Peace Delta program signed in 1982, the Venezuelan Air Force received 24 F-16A and F-16B Block 15 fighters. At the time, Venezuela became the first operator of the F-16 in Latin America, and the acquisition was seen as a major step toward modernizing its air force and countering the regional influence of Cuba. The aircraft were assigned to Fighter Group 16, based at El Libertador Air Base, and quickly became the backbone of Venezuela's air defense. During this period, the United States continued to provide training, maintenance assistance, and access to spare parts. The F-16 was not just a purchase, it was the center of an emerging strategic partnership between the two nations. The political environment shifted dramatically in the late 1990s and 2000s as relations between Caracas and Washington deteriorated. In 2006, the United States banned all military sales and support to Venezuela, cutting off access to parts, avionics, weapons, and technical expertise required to keep the F-16 viable. This halted any opportunity for midlife upgrades and removed the aircraft from the global sustainment network that allowed other F-16 operators to modernize their fleets. Without access to approved supply chains for the engine, radar, and electronic warfare systems, the Venezuelan Air Force began facing a steady decline in readiness. Systems like the Lightning targeting pod and the Python and Sidewinder air-to-air missiles gradually became harder to maintain, limiting the aircraft's strike and interception capabilities. Despite these challenges, Venezuela has kept a portion of the fleet airworthy. While the Air Force still lists around 18 to 20 airframes in its inventory, only a small number are considered fully operational. Most credible estimates suggest that 3 to 5 single-seat F-16A fighters and 1 two-seat F-16B are regularly flyable. The rest either remain grounded, await parts cannibalized from other airframes, or are maintained at a minimal storage level to preserve structural integrity. Recent official footage published by the Venezuelan Armed Forces shows at least 3 F-16s flying in formation with Su-30MK2Cs during training drills in 2024 and 2025, demonstrating that operational capability, although limited, still exists. The key to this endurance lies in a patchwork of technical and logistical tactics. The first is extensive cannibalization. Venezuela has accepted that a portion of its fleet will never return to service, and instead serves as a reservoir of spare parts. A grounded airframe can provide components for avionics, landing gear, hydraulic systems, and environmental controls, helping sustain the few aircraft still flying. This method is common in sanctioned militaries and has proven to be the most direct way to keep an advanced fighter operational without official supply chains. Secondly, The Venezuelan Air Force has developed a degree of local maintenance capability. Although the country lacks the ability to refurbish the most complex components, such as the engine's core, advanced radar modules, or encrypted systems, it can maintain structural integrity, perform limited overhaul work, and fabricate simple mechanical parts domestically. Over time, AMB technicians have gained experience improvising repairs, substituting components, and managing airworthiness through careful rationing of flight hours. A third factor is the use of unofficial third-party supply channels. While the United States bans direct sales, some non-critical components can still be acquired through intermediaries in places where export controls are looser. These rarely include sensitive avionics or weapons, but they can cover items like pumps, valves, wiring harnesses, and non-classified subsystems. Such purchases are irregular and unpredictable, but even small shipments can significantly extend the life of an aging fleet. Finally, Venezuela has lowered its operational expectations for the F-16. Instead of performing heavy strike or complex combat missions, most flying involves air policing, interception training, and readiness exercises. By reducing mission stress and limiting flight hours, the aircraft can be stretched far longer than originally intended. The fighter retains excellent aerodynamic performance and reliability at the airframe level, so long as maintenance is careful and conservative. The continued operation of the F-16 provides Venezuela with several strategic advantages. Politically, it preserves a symbol of the era when Venezuela was a favored security partner of the United States. Keeping the aircraft in service serves as a subtle reminder that despite sanctions, Caracas has not completely lost the ability to field advanced Western technology. Militarily, even a small fleet of F-16s offers quick reaction air defense capability. Their speed, climb rate, and radar performance still exceed those of lighter trainers, like the K-8W, allowing them to intercept unidentified aircraft or support the Su-30 Mk2 in layered air operations. In recent years, Venezuela has occasionally flown mixed formations of F-16s and Su-30 Mk2s, a rare combination in global aviation. While the Su-30s serve as the long-range strike and air superiority component, the F-16s act as agile interceptors capable of rapid response around the capital region. Together, they form a hybrid fleet that, although outdated, still represents a deterrent to neighboring air forces with more limited capabilities. Looking to the future, the Venezuelan F-16s remain structurally sound enough to continue flying for several more years if enough spare parts can be scavenged or improvised. The airframes themselves were designed for longevity, often exceeding 8,000 flight hours with proper upkeep. The true limiting factor is the F-100 PW200 engine and associated systems, which cannot be replaced or fully overhauled without American cooperation. As these engines age, the fleet will gradually shrink. Most forecasts suggest Venezuela may retain only 2 or 3 flyable F-16s by the late 2020s. Venezuela has explored alternatives, including further reliance on Su-30 Mk2 fighters, potential acquisition of JF-17s, or expanding the role of unmanned systems and long-range missiles in a more asymmetric defense posture. But until a replacement is formalized and funded, the F-16 will continue to serve as an important part of Venezuela's aerial security architecture. The survival of the Venezuelan F-16s reflects a broader pattern within the country's military doctrine: resilience under constraint, reliance on hybrid fleets, and acceptance of limited operational capability in exchange for maintaining symbols of national sovereignty. Even with only a handful of aircraft still flying, the fleet remains a meaningful asset in the Caribbean region. As long as they can still take off, the Venezuelan F-16s will continue to signal that Caracas retains at least some high-performance air combat capability despite decades of pressure and isolation.